Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've been out, what with COVID and everything, really haven't had a chance to get away, and this is the first time that I've been away, so it's been great. Spent the day driving and so lucky to find myself here on this beach in Mozambique. Finally the day had arrived, 22 September. We met up at the Paindane on the N14. We met Hendrik and Laverne, Johan and Jocelyn and Kayla, and we headed out.
Ja, dat is duidelijk, baie dankie. Alan, die copy me.
Hi Hendrik, yes I do, loud and clear.
Okay, we're going to go towards Victoria and then we're going to take the N4 highway. So try to keep with the traffic and then up towards Inhambane.
The final destination was Paindane Beach via Maputo in Mozambique. After a couple of hours on the road, we had to make the obligatory stop at Millie's to get a Seattle coffee. Hi. Good evening. Can I have a tall cappuccino and a tall vanilla latte, please? Thank you. It was a Thursday morning, so the roads were nice and quiet as we came down through Schoemanskloof and then out Nelspruit, heading towards Komatipoort. One of my favorite sections of this route. It's just such a beautiful road, this. At Komatipoort we stopped for a fill-up, and the Ranger drivers were really happy with their sub-9 fuel consumptions, and me and my Disco under 10, I was quite happy too, so it was looking good. Coming out of Komatipoort we took a little shortcut to avoid the N4 with all the trucks on it. So you go round the back of Komatipoort and go over the Komati River, and you come out right at the border post on the N4, which was fantastic. And then going through the border was really simple. There was like 2 or 3 people ahead of us in the queue. No issues. We got through the Mozambique side easily and the South African side. I'd already had my third-party insurance for my car done, so I didn't need to do that. So we literally just had to do immigration, and then just fill in get the vehicle documents, the importation documents for the vehicle. and that was it. And so it was really quick and easy, and we were through literally in about half an hour. The other side of the border was another story. I thought there were a lot of trucks on the South African side, but when we crossed into Mozambique, I just couldn't believe the line of trucks, basically mainly coal trucks, and most of them are using this route because the Transnet infrastructure and the port infrastructure at Richards Bay is just not putting out the capacity that they need to, and so a lot of these mines have to divert their coal exports through the Maputo border, through the Maputo port, and so that's why you find all these trucks on here. But I mean, this queue of trucks was well over 3 kilometers long. It took us almost 10 minutes just to pass it as we drove down the side. Just after the border, probably about 10 or 20 k's I think it is, there's this little shop where you can stop and get SIM cards. We took a short detour through Maputo because we needed to get some meat. There's a restriction with the foot and mouth, the importing of meat, so we needed to buy some meat, and so we knew there was a spot called Mozambique in Maputo, and I put it into the GPS, so we were just following that, but it seemed to be taking us on a roundabout route, and then when we looked on the Google Maps, it said you can take a left, and so we took a left at this little road over here, and we got the full Mozambican experience here.
Yes, we took the wrong road, but anyway, I'll just go. Give them the scenic. Hi, Annie, are you still there behind me?
Yes, we are sitting.
Okay, you gave us the scenic route in Komati, so I'm giving you the scenic route in Maputo.
No problem.
This turned out to be quite a long little road, and so the further down we went, I was getting a bit worried because I didn't know if we were going to come out on the other side, and it looked like it was just a dead end at the other end, so we were a bit unsure. But as with all things, there's always shortcuts, and so yeah, we just turned and there was a little slip road, and we came around, and there it was, Mozambique, right in front of us, and so it all worked out perfectly well. Luckily, Henny took over with a route plotting to our night stop, and so he recommended that we go around the waterfront side of Maputo and not through the middle of the busy section, which was fantastic because we got a chance to see the Katembe Bridge and drove right under it, and then also went through some of the older parts of Maputo where we saw some of the beautiful old buildings. Fantastic to see how clean a lot of Maputo is, and a lot of new buildings and new shops, which is great. And then we came round to the waterfront side and got our first sight of Maputo Bay, and it really this road is top class and just really quite spectacular actually. The Mozambican murals and wall art is really beautiful and quite different from anything that you see in South Africa. We made our way to Macaneta Island, which is where we were going to spend our first night. as a stop overnight. And it was quite nice because I'd never been there before, so I was really looking forward to it. We parked the cars and headed straight for the beach. Resident guard dog Stoffel showed us the way. And there it was, we saw the sea and found a wide open empty beach. It looked absolutely fantastic. On Macaneta Island, just an overnight stop for us. We're on the way up to Paindane, so just outside Inhambane, and we'll head out there tomorrow and going to spend a week out there, so that's going to be really nice. No hectic overlanding, just a bit of beach, not beach driving, but a bit of sand driving to get up to the place that we're staying, and then probably around there, around Inhambane. I've got my kites with, so looking forward to doing a bit of kite surfing. And yeah, it's going to be a nice week, so I'll share that with you. We'll be going back through the Kruger Park, so we'll go back through Limpopo National Park, through the Girondo border post, and then drive down through Kruger, and then back that way again. So that'll just be a nice different way out. I haven't been through that side, so that'll be a nice first. So looking forward to that. Yeah, so let's see what we get up to for the rest of the week. Looking forward to it. The spot we stayed at is quite a popular stop, Tanabiki, and so we just settled in there for the night. The next morning I was woken by the tweeting birds, which was lovely, but I could also hear some voices in the distance, and I wondered what it was, and so I headed down to the beach to have a look. And what I saw was absolutely amazing. All along the beach, as far as you could see, there were just lines of people walking up and down the beach, pulling on their rope for their nets. And so they were fishing as the sun was coming up. It was such a spectacular sight, and just listening to them chatting and talking, it was amazing. We hit the road by 7, and our first task for the day was to find an ATM to draw some cash, because we hadn't done it the day before and passed quite a few nice convenient ATMs. And so the search for the ATM started. This one looked good, and we landed up in the queue, but just before we got there it ran out of money. So we had to go find another one, which took a bit of time, but we made it eventually. With all the admin done, we were finally on the road heading for Inhambane on this mostly busy section. And one of the things which we soon learnt was you better make sure you get out of the way when the buses come past, because they just go regardless of white line, speed, it doesn't matter, they just go. And there were lots of police along the road, and they were stopping a lot of taxis and a lot of trucks. They didn't stop us once, so that was fantastic. But it doesn't look like they stopped the buses either, because they just kept going. Look out for them. Here they come. It's quite strange crossing the Limpopo and not leaving your country, which is what we used to in South Africa. But this is Mozambique after all, and here the Limpopo runs into the sea. This was one of the many bridges we crossed, and also a toll road where you pay a toll. The cost is usually quite small, around 50 metakash, and it's in cash, so it's a good idea to keep cash on hand for those tolls. And then we can see again here as you enter the towns, usually when the speed limit is around 60, that's when you find most of the traffic police stops, and they're usually just just checking licenses and things. And then there were a few speed traps that we found along the way as well, but most of them, or all of them, were in 60 km/h zones. As we travelled through the middle of the day, the temperature crept up, and at this point it had hit 34. It didn't get much hotter than that, but it was nice and hot. As we got further from Maputo and closer to Inhambane, the road got worse and worse, and landed up with some sections with some pretty serious potholes in. So you do need to take care there. But the nice thing was to see that there was a lot of roadworks going on as well. So I think with time those potholes will be fixed, because they were busy actually filling some of those potholes and getting ready to relay some new tar. But the way they run their roadworks here is slightly different, and there's not really stop and go. It's kind of like everyone just goes, and so you all go on the same piece of road, and then when you find someone coming in your direction, then everyone sort of splits a bit to the side and makes a plan to get past, and then you're all back on the one road again. It was late afternoon when we finally arrived in Jangamo, which is where we were going to be turning off, and we decided to fill up over here so that we could go into the areas where we were going with full tanks of fuel. We had another short section of narrow tar, and then we finally got to the turn off onto the dirt, and then it was quite a long, what's called gravel, but it's actually a mix of gravel and sand. No, not thick sand at all, but just like a typical sort of Mozambican gravel road. It had been a long day on the road, and the fatigue was starting to set in.
Andy, do you want to give us a review of your day?
No, I need wine.
Oh, detailed review. Like a review where you actually try.
It may have been late and we may have been a bit tired, but the views that we saw as the sun was setting driving down that road are just the thing that makes me love Mozambique so much. It's just such a beautiful sight to see, knowing that you're heading for the coast. We were racing against the sun and the clock because we still needed to buy a couple of things at a shop in the little village just outside the lodge where we were staying, and so we needed to get there by 6, and we just made it. After deflating our tires, we headed out into the looming darkness. There was one more obstacle for us to conquer before we arrived at our destination, and that was the sandy track and the notorious rutted sand dune.
We're going up the dune here, so there's a bit more momentum, and here we go.
And then finally, we had arrived. Morning. Once again, just woke up this morning, got up early. Just wanted to see where we were because we had a long day yesterday and we only got in after dark, and so we were quite tired after a long day's drive up from Maputo up to this Inhambane area, and then came into the Paindane area, and and it was a bit longer than what I thought it would take actually, but we had a couple of stops, and it was interesting and nice to see, but the route along from Maputo up on the N1, especially the section all the way up to Shasha is quite busy, and a lot of speed restrictions, and you need to be careful. And then after that was a little bit more open. Then we had a bit of roadworks and some potholes and stuff, so pretty much normal traveling. But yeah, so we got in after dark and just sorted ourselves out with some food, and then had a little bit of a chat, and then I think most of us were quite tired, so went to bed. And I've woken up this morning really refreshed, really nice, and I just looked out the window, saw the sun coming up, and I thought, I've got to get out, let's just see what it looks like. And it's just unbelievable. I mean, the spot is absolutely amazing, the sun's just coming up now. Everyone else is still sleeping. So I love getting up in the morning, and I love those sunrises, and I wasn't going to miss this first one, so I thought, let me check it out. And it's just on top of a dune here, and a really nice spot that we're going to be staying for this week. So let me just show you around and see. You can see what I'm seeing right now with the sunrise and the beach and down at the bottom, and it's just it's really, really beautiful. So looking forward to a nice couple of days just relaxing here, probably be looking around, seeing the area a little bit. So we'll see some areas along the coast that I want to check out, and then just doing a bit of snorkeling, hoping to get some wind, so I brought my kites with, get a bit of kite surfing in, and then just taking a week off and enjoying just being down at the coast again, and back up in this area of Mozambique. It's been about 18 years since I was here last. I was on my honeymoon actually, and it's really nice to be back again, to have a look here with some good friends, and it's going to be good. So I'll hope to share some of that with you in the rest of the week. But it's all just going to be big time relaxation and just enjoying this beautiful scenery.
Everybody was just taking in this amazing piece of Mozambican paradise, and we spent most of the day just admiring the views and then just exploring the beach and the areas around us.
That morning we were greeted with the amazing sight of breaching whales. We couldn't believe our eyes. I think they were southern right whales, as they are around Mozambique coast at this time of the year, and it was amazing to see them, but also to see so many of them, and we saw them for the whole week. It was a real treat. This is the Paindane reef, which seems to be full of fish based on the amount of people on the reef during the day. And then also that's where the snorkeling is just fantastic. And so we were really looking forward to getting into the water there. But we were already seeing some of the fantastic seafood that was available, as we had some of the local fishermen catching some fish for us that we were looking for. So that's what we got up to in just the first 3 days. Imagine what we can get up to in the next 10 days. So you can look forward to another 2 action-packed episodes of this great holiday adventure. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, then please like it, because you're really going to enjoy the next one, where we go on a boat trip to an island, we do some snorkeling and see some amazing stuff underwater. I get out on my kiteboard and do a bit of kite surfing, we do some sandboarding, we get out on some tracks and discover some new places, and we run into some locals and head down to the beach.